still on my journey to get to 10,000 steps, 12,000, and eventually closer to 15,000 some days. So I'm gonna give you guys a little update. Told you I'd be back with an update on how we're doing here, since I was starting out around 4,000 steps. Let me speed up my little walking pad here. I love this one. It's got like a little remote. Maybe they all do, but it's nice. I set it to a 1.5 speed when I'm working, and it's like fast enough to where I get a decent amount of steps and activity, but not too fast where I can still keep working. So last week I showed you guys this screenshot over here. I was averaging around like 4,000-ish steps, which was kind of embarrassing because I'm a pre and postnatal fitness trainer, but I'm also just an active person in general. So I'm like, what are we doing here? So my goal is to get up to 10 to 12,000 on average, because that is the gold standard according to ACOG for pregnant women. So to have a healthy pregnancy, there's just studies that have been proven to show that like the more active you are in that realm. Steps are just a way to measure, because it's really hard to measure your activity in other ways. Like, yes, you can say I worked out for 30 minutes and like that's a way to measure things too, but steps are used because it's like the only way we have data to like reliably measure like your activity levels during the day. So basically being very active. So that's what that goal came from. This week I was at over 6,000, close to 7,000. And this is only because I added in intentional 20-minute walks. And I didn't even do it every day. I wanted to do it every day. That was on me for not planning ahead. So that's like lesson learned. When you don't plan ahead, it doesn't happen, especially when you're a mom. You gotta like pre-plan these things. But I did it 4 out of the 7 days. And just doing that, compared to like not doing it at all, got me almost to 7,000 steps on average over the week. So as you can see in the screenshot, some days were below the 6,000, some days were over it. My goal was 6,000 for the week. My goal is 6,000 steps for 2 weeks, and then we're gonna bump it up to 8,000 steps. So it's gonna be a big jump. So this week I'm hoping my average goes up into the 7,000s by intentionally walking those 20-minute walks more. So I'm gonna be on my walking pad a little bit more. But when I do the 20-minute walks, they're like power walks. Like I'm not doing this like slow walks. This is not gonna give me many steps. I'm like intentionally moving my body, getting good cardio activity in, walking on my actual treadmill or outside for a good like power walk for 20 minutes. And so doing that for at least 5 to 6 days this week, so that way I get closer to over 7,000, and then my next goal will be 8,000. So stay tuned.